All right, now that we've got our assembly made, it's time for us to work on what's called a parts list. Parts list is what you can take into the shop with you and know what parts need to be done, what parts need to be cut, what size they are. And I've already started a parts list. I'll let you take a peek at what it looks like here. So something similar to this, where we can see that there's a unique view here of how it goes together, and there's some sizes over here. So we're going to work through in this video creating one of these. If you have not got this STMA title block loaded into your drawing, please do so now. I do want you to use the STMA title block. And let's go ahead. I'm just going to add a new sheet, and we'll start from scratch. And we're going to call this, instead of assembly 1, we're going to call this parts list. All right, we might edit some other things here later. Parts list starts with the assembly. We're going to create what's called an exploded view first. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see we can create an exploded view. I have one already created. It's called Explode 1. It looks something like this. We're going to create a new one. So let's add an exploded view. Right off the bat, I'm going to rename this. I'm just going to call it Explosion. Oh, maybe I'll call it Exploded View. All right, and to move the parts, you just simply click on them. You can either rotate or drag them. I want them to just be dragged up. And I'll click on a leg. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let's undo that. Control Z. Say done moving the, double click on this again. Here we go. Let's go ahead and move the leg. Hit the green check mark to move to a different part. Hit the green check mark. And now I'm done with exploded view. All right. I'm going to take that exploded view and I'm going to put it into a new sheet. So let's go ahead and we're going to use the insert button. And you can see that there's an explode position. I have explode 1, explode 2. I don't have exploded view, and that's because I have not updated my browser. So anytime that yellow arrow is lit up, you can update things. And now we've got exploded view. There we go. And I do want that in an isometric view. Looks like I'm using a 1:6 scale. Let's go ahead and put that in. The next thing I will do is bring in my assembly. Again, it just says assembly 1. Let's change the name of that just as good practice. I'm going to go ahead and edit and rename this. Booster bench assembly. I'm going to go back over to drawing. Look at that, I can update. And now I can do booster bench assembly. All right, not a big deal, but something that's probably a good practice. Notice how when I left click to enter the front view, I could drag up and left click to enter the top view. I'm still in this insert command, so I'm going to say from this front view, I left click. I'm going to left click and enter a side view. And now I can hit escape to get out of that command. All right, we can move things around so they fit on our page. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in a list of parts. So right up here, you can see I can get a table, a BOM, a BOM table, stands for bill of materials, and that's what I want to select. Left click on that. It automatically has this kind of an Excel type spreadsheet look to it. I'm going to choose the bottom right corner to be grabbing it, because then I can snap it to this bottom right corner. And it's referencing these three parts. Part one, which we know is the stretcher. Well, let's go ahead and add some callouts or balloons to our parts as well. So part one, it says, is the stretcher, quantity of 1. I'm going to go ahead and left click on this and drag this call out. Oh, hold on a second. Let's try that again. All right. There we go. So I grab the leg, and you can see it automatically gives me a number 2 because it's directly linked to that chart. Callouts are generally put at a horizontal or not put at a horizontal or vertical orientation. So go ahead and just kind of put it at a nice angle here. I'll left click. And then I'm going to go, I don't have to do both legs, just one. There we go. There's the stretcher. Kind of keep it symmetrical with the other one. And I'm going to go up here to the top. There we go. Hit the green check mark. So our callouts are on there. Next thing we're going to do is, instead of a description of wood, we're going to put the size, the dimensions of the piece. So let's double click on this, and you can see we can override the material. And the size of the stretcher is going to be 12.5 by 2.5 by 0.75. Should probably put a 0 in there. All right. I think I can, there we go. That's updated. Might need to give ourselves a little bit more room. There we go. Let's go to the leg, and let's override the leg. The leg dimensions are 7.25 by 6.0 by 0.75. You see it automatically updates. Let's double click on this one for the top. Top dimensions are 16.0 times 7.25 times 0.75. So we've got all of our dimensions in here. We've got, looks like we can probably shrink this up just a little bit. Try and have this not take up as much space. That one's probably good, and that one's good. All right. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to type some instructions on here. We can get into this text command right here, and we're just going to left click up at the top. The message or the notes that I do want you to put in there, I had written on another sheet here. Aha. It says booster bench parts sequence. And we're going to go ahead and go through some of these, what some of these things are a little bit later, but I just want you to get these written in. So let's go back to the sheet I was working on. All right. Bold and underlined. Let's call this booster bench need to, I'm going to hit the green check mark, and I'm going to try and make this a little bit wider. There we go. Booster bench parts sequence. And underneath that, I'm going to give myself a couple returns. And I'm just going to do take off bold and underlined. And I'm just going to give myself kind of a sequential list of things I need to do. First thing I need to do when I have some material is I need to rip it. Again, if you don't know what these things are, we'll go over that later. Crosscut, trace, bandsaw, sand. So those are always the things that you make sure that you've completed. And let's hit return, and I will give myself one more return. And I do want you to type this on here. All right. You are now ready to start your booster bench.